Assalamu alaikum, Kabul. Great, excellent. I'm finally happy to be here in Kabul, and not just at the flea markets of the Pak-Afghan border, because that's the closest I ever got to before today. So, this is what it looked like. Oh, skipped ahead. You might have seen this in a James Bond film as well, because they've come here and shot quite a few times different films. But this is the flea market of the Pak-Afghan border, and this is where the closest I got to. One of my earliest memories from the flea market is when we took a guest visiting from abroad over there. He was in absolute awe and excitement when he was there. You can imagine why, right? Apart from the fact that we didn't have a James Bond there, but we had everything else there. And he was so fascinated. We had a guide with us. He asked him, "Can I buy guns over here?" And the guide said, "Yes, you can." And then we continued. And then, in his excitement, he asked again, "Can I buy a rocket launcher over here?" The guide said, "Yes, indeed." He got really excited by this point in time. And he was like, "Can one buy a helicopter over here?" At this point, the guide looked at him and looked him in the eyes, and he said, "My friend, you can find anything over here except for one's mother and father. But if you look hard enough, you just may find them here too." I believe what he meant was that they may be shopping there as well, given the variety of things we have. So the moral of that story was, don't bring foreigners to the flea markets, because the whole family might end up shopping over there because of the variety of things we had. Okay. My name is Izmerai, as you have all heard. I'm an Afghan by descent, and I'm also the great-grandson of Baba Ahmed Shah Durrani and Baba Qais Abdul Rashid, the two of the founding fathers of this great and beautiful nation. I've been tasked with an idea worth sharing, but the problem with me is I don't just have an idea, I have many ideas. And ideas are like looking at a forest or the big picture. So today I would like you all to take a couple of steps back and look at the forest with me. Let's look at the big picture. Let's look at the image of Afghanistan. To find out a bit about what people's initial thoughts associated with Afghanistan are, I decided to speak to a few random people, as you do. I asked people to describe the first 3 images that came in their head when I said the word Afghanistan. Then I showed them amazingafghanistan.com, our platform. It has a lot of positive stories and a positive image of Afghanistan. I asked them the same question again, and their answers were very different. Here's what I found. You have the usual suspects, Talibans, war, poor people. Some people who've been to Afghanistan talked about Nuristani woodwork and the turquoise mountains. Again, the same words come up: war, Muslim, war, desert, camels, poverty, innocent children. And you can see the words that came up afterwards as well. You have beautiful landscape, liberty, music bands, free channels, development. So there's a whole list of people. I can't put everyone's name on the presentation because we had to keep it limited, but you can see all the words that came before we showed them the image of Afghanistan and after. So this is a real image that people have in the international community about Afghanistan. And this is a survey we did to identify how people look at Afghanistan, which is very important. The good news is for all you young gentlemen over here, you do have a fan club in the Syrian female community, because we've also got cute young men. So let's hear a round of applause for all the cute young men over here. Come on, let's. Yes, very good, excellent. Okay, so this exercise reconfirmed the premise that most people have negative thoughts initially associated with Afghanistan and its image. However, after a bit of exposure to the positive efforts, you've seen how their perspective changed. What we learned from this exercise is that a positive image is very important in the international community. Equally important is a platform that showcases and continues to reinforce the positive image. So what we need, on one hand, is the actions, and then we need to create awareness for those actions. And then we can have social change. Because people need to know what you're doing. If people don't know what you're doing, they will never know what you're doing, basically. Improving the image of Afghanistan is an important task for all those who want to build a better Afghanistan. We must constantly promote the positive to replace the negative. Like I showed you in the slides earlier, you had the before images and the after images and the description of those. So why is image important for a country? It helps people want to visit a country. It motivates them to want to visit a country. If you have a positive image, people will want to come here. It boosts your tourism. In turn, it boosts the economy, which means you have more money to invest in infrastructure and redevelopment, just to name a few things. But most importantly, in education. How do we create a better image for a country? By constantly focusing and working towards positive initiatives and creating awareness for such initiatives. This goes back to what I said earlier. You need to work on positive initiatives and create awareness for those initiatives so people know what you're doing over here. How did I conceive this idea of an amazing Afghanistan? Well, one fine day, I was sat in Burger King with a friend of mine. And we were just brainstorming on what I could do to create or just do something positive for Afghanistan. I'm an Afghan at the end of the day. Because every time I went online to look for something related to Afghanistan, I was greeted with mostly negative or post-conflict images. I'm sure you've all seen those images. I felt that the positive image of Afghanistan did not exist. It just wasn't there. And no one was taking any responsibility for it. Responsibility is an important word. But what I did know is that the real Afghanistan is a resilient country. Given the years of conflict, followed over by a decade of redevelopment, it's full of strong, loving, and beautiful people. People who always open their doors to travelers and visitors from all around the world, no matter what their hardships are or have been. And Afghans are famous for their hospitality. That's when it came to me. That's so amazing. An amazing Afghanistan. I realized then I was going to build an amazing Afghanistan. So I went ahead and started work on purchasing and registering the domain name, amazingafghanistan.com. I spoke with various people about it to get some feedback. And they were like, oh yes, amazing idea. And then I would look at their faces as that puzzle look would settle in. Amazing Afghanistan? I'd be like, yeah, why not? Positive smile on my face. And then they would look even more puzzled. What's this guy talking about? So I continued with my work and made amazingafghanistan.com an online platform. I started thinking about what needs to go onto it. I wanted to travel to Afghanistan myself. Sorry, this is going ahead, right? But there's very little guidance on how or where from at that time. I needed help with the prerequisites of travel. I think Kakar touched on it earlier about visas and what Iran's done with 150 nationalities. So I didn't know if I needed a visa or I need a visa, how much it's for, or I didn't even know the processing time for it. So these are important questions for someone who wanted to travel to Afghanistan. I wanted to reach out to organizations and initiatives when I traveled there. But whenever I surfed the internet, I could not find consistent information about positive initiatives or NGOs working in Afghanistan. It was very hard. It's changed now quite a lot, but a couple of years ago, it was very hard to find stuff related to Afghanistan and companies working here. I had to search a lot, like I said. The information what I found was mostly of independent and private companies because they're the ones who can afford to make websites and online presence. Other initiatives had mostly updated but more or less outdated information on them. So the information that was online was outdated. It was there from probably a couple of years ago. It was not being updated. So everything was always scattered. This initially stirred me towards making the platform a one-stop shop for information on travel to Afghanistan and guidance. My wife helped put a lot of hours in helping us. Also the fact that she had quit her job and was jobless, we made full advantage of that. It was great. She is also a journalist. So inspired by my wife and her field of journalism and the positive Afghan stories, I incorporated a news blog to promote only positive stories and post about positive initiatives by Afghans and expats in Afghanistan, because Afghans are doing a lot of positive work and the expats are also doing a lot of positive work who are living here. I envisioned Amazing Afghanistan to be a progressive platform with a positive digital footprint for Afghanistan in the global arena. I aim to create an online community where thinkers and writers for a better Afghanistan unite, taking forward what always has been a great nation of loving people. So I ask all of you, if any of you are writers, please approach us, or if you know any friends or family members who like to write and have positive stories, share them with us. We have a website, we'll post about them. We have a Facebook page, we'll share it there, and then we can share it on your social media networks and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and so on. But let's get talking about these stories, right? Let's get everyone together. Because we want to give Afghans an organized and unanimous voice to the world, which is very important to create a better image. So we have now created a portal that showcases all the positive stories where we can highlight those people making a difference in Afghanistan. As you can see, these are some of the blogs that we've done. We've done them on Nancy Hatch Dupree, Shamsia Hasni, who's working on a local and international platform, the Khanagi brothers with their bakery, Skatistan, Afghan Cycles, Afghanistan Ascends, the Astronomy Society with Mr. Yunus Bakshi and Ibrahim Amiri. They've been helping children around the country to do astronomy and do stargazing. Incredible people. All these stories are there. I ask you to go to the website, read about them if you don't already know about them. And if you know about them, then share them. And if you have positive stories, bring them to us. Because we need to promote Afghanistan to the world. And there's so much going on over here, just people don't know about it. And we're trying to put everything together over here. We want this vision to reach the people who can really make a change. Every nation has the good, the bad, and the ugly. And Afghanistan is no different, except we don't have the ugly. Because we're a good-looking bunch, aren't we? Yeah? Great. Okay. Our efforts will only focus on promote positive progress. And that's our aim and objective. Only positive stories. Because there's a lot of negativity out there. A lot of media companies are already doing that. We just want to put out positive stories for Afghanistan, and that's very important. So looking back at my time spent at the flea markets of the Pak-Afghan border, to sitting in Dubai brainstorming about what to do with it, to standing here at the Kabul stage today, presenting the image of a nation to all of you, I realize, and I hope you do all as well, that without Afghanistan, there is no amazing. Thank you very much.